Good afternoon, race fans. Welcome here to race number 23 of Season 4 of the NNSCRA Duracell Cup Series. It's the final road course stop of the regular season here in upstate New York at Watkins Glen International. I'm Seth Cole, ready to bring you today's action here at one of the shortest road courses that we go to. This track just a little under 2.5 miles in length, 7 corners, but you didn't tune in to our non-charter qualifying event earlier on today. This is going to be a bit of a challenge for these drivers, especially turn 7, the final corner headed for the start-finish line, in which we saw in the non-charter race, the driver that was first coming off of turn 7 actually crossed the start-finish line in 3rd place. So will we see something like that here today? 27 laps, so we will end up seeing pit road come into play in this charter event as well. Cole Baker has been a pole-sitting machine as he picks up his 4th pole on the year, breaking a tie between himself, Austin LaPlante, and Charles Belding, who were at 3 apiece coming into this race. He'll be alongside a fellow Toyota Camry, Matt Haas, who didn't really make many friends last week at Martinsville, got into a couple of drivers in that event, was actually the only driver to DNF as well. Zach Rogers, last week's winner, getting his first win on the season, lines up in 3rd alongside another driver who recently went to victory lane back in New Hampshire, that being the 77 of Patrick Smith. Take a look down in the description below for your full starting lineup for today's event. Adam Garcia took over the overall points lead last week. He holds 14 points over teammate Mitchell Collins. Nathan Ormond drops from 1st to 3rd after last week at Martinsville. He will be 18 points back, 21 points back. Dylan Young, Jack Mitchell, right now the highest in points without a victory. He's 24 points out of the top position. Rest of the top 10 in points, defending champion Jordan Lopez, Carson Gum, Jose Millz, Jesse Turner, and Daytona 500 winner T Wright. 67 points separate the top 10 in the standings. Ford has a stranglehold on wins here at Watkins Glen. Jose Millz, the inaugural winner back in Season 1, Jesse Turner in Season 2, and K Batson comes in the defending winner from Season 3. All put blue ovals in victory lane in the first 3 races. We'll see if Toyota can break into the winner's column. They've got the front row locked up as Cole Baker and Matt Haas got to bring us down. And the cheese at 3:55 at Watkins Glen is green. Let's roll. Baker with the advantage off of turn 1. Rumble strips are going to be more of a hindrance than a help here today, especially over there in turn 1 and in the aforementioned turn 7. They're there as a guideline, but not really there for grip, especially with the fact that the sun's been beating down on where the non-charter drivers were running earlier, making those rumble strips very slick. Matt Haas and Zach Rogers going to battle for 2nd place through the chicane. Almost 3 wide as Patrick Smith almost attempted to go to driver's left on the 8. They tuck back to double wide as R Brommer now to the inside of the 77. Charles Sandfer in the vicinity as well in the 03 machine. And Ryan Butcher, former winner back there in the 78. 2-time winner Ryan Butcher. As a matter of fact, coming into this race right now, as Baker's going to get the wall there. We're going to be saying that a lot off of turn 7 today, so be expecting a broken record. Ryan Butcher is one of 7 drivers that come into this race as 2-time winners, along with Adam Garcia, Mitchell Collins, Nathan Ormond, Jesse Turner, T Wright, and did I just name off 6? I think I just named off 6. Who was the other one? Cole Deaver is the other one. So right now they hold almost 50% of the playoff grid. Another 7 spots right now being held by 1-time winners. Dylan Young, Jordan Lopez, Charles Belding, Ryan Brommer, K Batson, last week's winner Zach Rogers, and Patrick Smith. 2 spots available for drivers to either be non-charter drivers that have made 10 starts and have a win in the charter series or to point their way in. Right now, 1 driver has succeeded in doing that as far as the non-charter driver winning, that being Chris Dollerton. He's got the 10 starts necessary, so he would take the 15th playoff position. Dylan Schwallenberg did not qualify for this race, but he still has 2 more races to make in the next 3 starts, as Cole Baker really clobbered the wall that time. Ryan Acosta further back there in the Dodge Challenger. He also got the wall off the final turn, turning the lead over to Patrick Smith in the 77. But Schwalenberg still has 3 more opportunities to make 2 more charter starts. He would then lock up the 16th spot. Right now, the 16th position goes to the driver highest in the point standings without a win. That would be last season's regular season champion, Jordan Lopez, who has not been, Jack Mitchell rather, who has not been to victory lane since last season at Darlington Raceway. Mentioned about the fact that Ford has won here all 3 times they've come to Watkins Glen. Right now, the entire top 4 comprised of Camrys: Patrick Smith, M Haas, Ryan Butcher, and pole sitter Cole Baker. Then the Chevrolet of Charles Sandfer. First Ford runs in 6th, make that 7th actually, T Wright behind the Dodge of Ryan Brommer. This is the 4th to last race on the season for these drivers, as another driver got to get the wall there off of turn 7. Patrick Smith, the latest victim of that. That's going to now have his teammate Ryan Butcher to the inside of M Haas for the race lead. After today, drivers will have Pocono, Bristol Dirt, and Auto Club to finish out the regular season. And there's a lot of drivers coming into this race that if they were to win here today, very likely could lock up playoff positions. They're running high enough in the point standings, but they wouldn't mathematically fall outside the top 30 in points, and could have themselves high enough above other drivers that have a win this season that they would already confirm themselves spots in the playoffs. Drivers that would fit that criteria include Jack Mitchell, Carson Gum, Jose Millz, Benny Watson, and I would even throw in a couple of others that are just inside the top 20, like Jacob Thibodeaux, Levi McIntyre, Cole Baker, and Phil Parker. The 2 drivers right now that do not want that scenario to take place are running up inside the top 10. Patrick Smith in the 77, who is 27th in points coming into this race, and last week's winner, Zach Rogers, who after his victory last week moved up to 23rd in points. And wow, these drivers are slamming the wall off of turn 7 here. It's not just a brush, it is a slam. Baker, Patrick Smith, and now Ryan Butcher have all clobbered that outside wall from the race lead. As Charles Sandfer took a peek for the top position, M Haas, however, says, "Thank you very much. I'll lead you guys going into the S's." We ran 14 laps in the non-charter race earlier on today, and these drivers were all able to make it that distance without coming to pit road. So we don't know exactly what the fuel window is for these drivers if they have to make a pit stop under green flag conditions. We do know it's going to be further than 14 laps. Might be right on the cusp there, maybe 15 laps, who knows? Maybe those drivers in the non-charter event were gasping for the last drop of fuel when they came to that checkered flag. Let's actually drop back, see if any of those non-charter drivers have made any forward progress. Road courses aren't necessarily the easiest places to work your way through the field and gain track position, and there is Daniel Voyles, who was the winner of the non-charter race earlier on today. Started back in the 37th position. Last time by scored in 30th. We'll see if he's improved at all, as he's actually got the guy he passed for that win earlier on today, Pedro Lucas, to his right. Voyles is going to cross in 29th, Lucas in 30th, so that's a battle just inside of the top 30 between those 2 non-charter drivers. Now, so far this season, incredibly enough, we've only had 2 other races at road courses, and you're looking at those 2 former winners in this shot. The 08 of Cole Deaver won back at the Indianapolis Grand Prix, the road course configuration, and the 91 Krispy Kreme Chevrolet there of Charles Belding won the first road course stop on the year back at Pukekohe. Both of them right now running in the 27th and 31st positions, respectively. Talked about former winners here at this racetrack. There is one of them, Jesse Turner in the 47, who's trying to break the tie. 7 drivers come into this race with 2 wins. All of them would love to be the first 3-time winner on the season. Turner, the most recent of those 2-time winners, I do believe. No, actually, Ryan Butcher is back at the Chili Bowl. Jesse Turner's second win came back at Fuel Motorsports Park. He had 2 wins during the first half of the regular season. The other former winner that's up towards the front right now here at Watkins Glen. The caution is out, and I think these drivers are racing back. Keith Batson right now holding down the 10th position, trying to go back-to-back seasons here with trips to victory lane at Watkins Glen. Batson already a former winner this season back at Springfield Mile. Ryan Brommer's Dodge looks to the inside of Patrick Smith's Toyota. I thought Brommer might have something for Matt Haas there for the race lead, but he had the shallow exit off of the bus stop, which actually has your car kind of bogged down with your right sides in the grass, loses you speed, and usually the driver on the left side of that formation is going to get the position, which Patrick Smith did, moving into second place. As Matt Haas is going to lead them through turns 6 and 7 back to the start-finish line, provided he doesn't knock down the outside wall coming back to the stripe. And he is going to brush the wall, but I think he'll be able to hold off these guys. Had enough of a distance to be able to lead them back to the first caution of the day. Matt Haas 34th in points, so he would, if he were able to go to victory lane, needs a lot of luck to be able to get himself high enough in the point standings that someone doesn't leapfrog him with 3 races left in the season. Let's see who might have been involved in bringing out this caution. There's some front-end damage on our points leader, Adam Garcia. And Michael Rudin, the 00's got some damage there too, the non-charter driver. So we'll see what exactly happened here. Not certain what portion of the track it was. The leaders had crossed the start-finish line by the time that caution came out, which is why they raced back to the caution. And this yellow flag, with not really knowing what the fuel window is for these drivers, did this caution just put them in the fuel window to make it the rest of the way and be able to make this pit stop under the caution flag? We'll wait and see. For now, we're going to go back, take a look at a replay of what brought out this yellow flag here for the first time today here in the charter race at Watkins Glen. This was a battle at the back, too. This was around the 38th, 39th position. Well, actually a battle for 37th, but still. It looks like Adam Garcia, when he got up there on the rumble strip, it just got the car really loose. Back end starts coming around, and unfortunately for Michael Rude, he got a run that was to the inside, and when the 23 spun out, he takes the 00 along with him. Man, we were lucky that we didn't have a lot of drivers collected up in that one. I guess the fortunate thing was it was towards the back of the pack. Only 2 drivers, Jordan Lopez and V Almariego, had to take evasive maneuvers to make sure it wasn't more than 2 drivers bringing out this yellow flag. So it just shows that these guys, they battle for every position, whether it's for the race lead or for a spot outside the top 35. It brings out the yellow flag for the first time here today, though. Sets us up for a round of pit stops. We'll see if Matt Haas is able to be first on, first off of pit road. And a number of those drivers that got early damage from hitting the outside wall, this is going to help them because, yes, they'll lose spots on pit lane here under caution, but not nearly as much track position as they would lose if they had to make that pit stop under green and spend that extra time repairing damage under green flag conditions. Let's head back now for the restart here at Watkins Glen. Well, caution laps are quick here at Watkins Glen. The pits are open after the leaders catch up to the pace car, and then the following time here on this straightaway heading to the bus stop, lights go out top the pace car. We get ready to go back green. The one thing that kind of throws it off, though, is you can't really rely right now on your top left lineup screen because it is scoring how drivers crossed the start-finish line when they came to pit road and hit their pit boxes. So it is not official right now of where these drivers are running. Currently, it's going to be Matt Haas, the leader, Ryan Brommer second, William Brock in third, Cole Baker fourth, and Keith Batson will be in fifth. Carson Gumbs 6th, Charles Sandfer 7th, Jesse Turner 8th, Benny Watson in 9th, and 10th is Michael Norman. A lot of drivers that you had up here towards the front going to be starting mid-pack, like Cole Baker, Ryan Butcher, Patrick Smith. They spent a little bit longer time on pit road getting that damage repaired on the left side of their respective machines. Looks like Ryan Brommer is going to be restarting back around the 20th position. Patrick Smith and Cole Baker, well, actually Baker's actually up here inside of the top 4 still. So maybe he didn't really sustain damage when he brushed it. Patrick Smith, though, a long ways back in the 77 car. He's back there, I think outside of the top 20, maybe around the 25th position for this restart. Can they make it on fuel? Did that pit stop help in terms of them being able to make it to the checkered, or is one more pit stop still in their future? We'll find out as Matt Haas about to get us back under the green flag. Toyota, Dodge, Chevy lead us back to the stripe. And now your ticker will update itself correctly as we nearly had contact there between R Brommer and Matt Haas. Brommer letting Haas know he was there. I don't know if contact really was made, but it was close. Oh, Matt Haas, William Brock are going to get together there through the S's. Brock's going to take a hard lick into the outside steel guardrail. And that's one of the hits that will hurt your race car for the rest of this one. That brush into the wall off of turn 7, while it will cause you to spend extra time on pit road, it will not affect the speed of your race car. But when you hit those steel guardrails, you can see a lot of damage to the right side of the Cinemas Bank Chevrolet Camaro. And that is going to hurt him in terms of speed, especially on these straightaways. There's only really 3 straightaways at Watkins Glen. One coming out of the S is heading for the bus stop. One right there between the carousel and turn 6. And then the one here off of turn 7. But you run enough laps here at Watkins Glen, those straightaways are going to hurt you. And boy, talk about hurt. R Brommer and Matt Haas both going to get the wall there off the final corner. And that's going to allow last year's winner, Keith Batson, to get a nice run. He might get a 2-for-1 special here from turn 7 down to turn 1. Third to the race lead. Cole Baker follows in his tire tracks. Carter Friesen back there, rather wide off of turn 1. Been a while since we've seen Friesen go to victory lane. He did have a road course win last year, if I recall correctly, during the playoffs. I believe it was at Lime Rock. Ended up making his way into the playoffs with a win. Then won his way into the round of 12, and then won his way into the round of 8. But so far, the former Daytona 500 winner and the Season 1 championship runner-up driver has yet to find victory lane this season, and it shows in the point standings too. Right now, he is that cutoff line driver, top 30 in the point standings, 30th. Well, actually, he's tied with Jessica Shelton for 30th in the point standings, really, both of them with 430 points apiece. Of course, a lot of bustle going on as, Keith Batson clobbered the wall there in the 39. R Brommer, who got the wall last time by, he's going to now move to the point. A lot of drivers making plans for Season 5 of the Duracell Cup Series, which is going to feature a more team-oriented type season, in which each entry is going to have 3 drivers during the course of the season, alternating every 3 races. It's kind of really shrunk down the field size, but there's still a long ways to go here in this season, and so you're going to start to see the formation of other teams get put together. A lot of names either returning or going to be making their debut here in Duracell that we're used to seeing in former series, like the Snickers Cup Series and Hershey's Cup Series. As a matter of fact, a driver right now, it's up inside the top 5, Michael Norman, announcing that Michael Norman Motorsports will be going back to Chevrolets next year. Only one entry has been announced for that team, the number 1, in which Michael Norman, Cody Llamas, and Trent Dunham will be taking part. Dunham will be making his debut in the Duracell Cup Series next year. There was definitely contact there between Matt Haas and R Brommer. And Brommer's going to go to the front. Caution is out, and I believe they took it as Michael Rood is in trouble. He's hit the pit wall. Trying to find the pace car here. There he is. And I think, are these drivers slowing? I don't think they're slowing. I think the caution came out after the leader crossed the start-finish line, so I think we're still racing back here. Michael Rood's gone a perfect 2 for 2. I think the field's kind of confused right now. I think about maybe 10 cars crossed the start-finish line before the caution came out. The rest of the field was still behind the start-finish line. They're already slowing down, so there's only about 7 of them that right now look like they are still up to full speed racing back to the start-finish line. So that's one of those freak cautions, the timing that it flies, where some of the field thinks it's race back, some of the field thinks that they have to start slowing down for the pace car. But R Brommer appears to be the one that will lead them back. Matt Haas in second. Michael Norman, Cole Baker, almost a little contact there for third place as Brommer gets the wall. Matt Haas is going to pass him. And Matt Haas is going to lead us for the second time today under yellow. Second caution and second time the 8 has won the battle back to the start-finish line over Cole Baker, R Brommer, Michael Norman, Charles Sandfer, and Jesse Turner. Now, I don't know if Michael Ruud was the only driver that was involved in that incident there off the final corner, hitting the pit wall, the entrance to pit road, or if maybe there was another driver that made some contact with him. We'll find out here as, think about it now. We are about halfway through this race. Pit road will be open. I guarantee you everybody will be down pit road again. They should be able to make it the rest of the way now. So this might have taken all fuel strategy out of play here at Watkins Glen. It might come down now to just who's got the best race car for a possible, 12, 13 lap sprint to the finish. So pits will be open this time. We'll come back and find out who gained, who lost. But for now, we're going to see a replay of what brought out the second caution of the day here at Watkins Glen. Well, this has just not been Michael Ruud's day. The rookie had actually worked his way with a damaged race car up to 33rd, was going for 32nd here on C Belding. This looks eerily similar to what happened before with Adam Garcia, where Belding gets up on the rumble strip, gets loose, and Michael Ruud is 2 for 2 and being in the wrong place at the wrong time. This time, though, it's going to send him down into the sand barrels that he is going to impale that pit wall entry area. And that is going to be day over for the 00. Tough break there for Ruud, who was making his 7th career charter start on the season. Had 1 top 5 and 2 top 10s coming into this race, spent most of this one towards the back, and might at this point be the first retiree out of the race. So Michael Ruud, the reason for this second caution of the day, which again, might very well have just put this into now who's got the best race car, who gets the best track position, and who can avoid hitting that turn 7 wall, rather than drivers trying to save fuel. But then again, you never know. We'll have to wait and see. Michael Ruud has indeed taken his race car back to the garage area. He'll be the first driver out of the race. 41 of our 42 still running and on the lead lap. Michael Norman inherits the race lead, but that's because only a handful of drivers elected to come down pit road here, which says to me that all these drivers that stayed out don't think that those guys that came to pit road can make it. M Haas gave up the race lead to come down pit lane. He pitted along with Benny Watson, Cole Baker, K Batson, T Wright, R Brommer, Jordan Lopes, and V Almariego. So those drivers are banking on the fact they feel they can make it to the conclusion of this race. Everybody else elected that they think track position is more important, and those guys back there will not be able to make it on fuel. Could also be banking on another caution to come out here as well. And with only about 7-8 drivers coming down pit lane, could be a net gain here where they would, if those drivers elect to stay out, then they may end up restarting still inside the latter half of the top 10 if they're up towards the front if a yellow flag comes out. They also might be of the opinion, if a caution comes out, that those drivers that came down pit road this time will come down again just to stay on sequence and have that insurance that they can make it to the conclusion. So we'll see if the strategy works out. If we end up going green to the end, that's going to make things very interesting. So we're going to keep an eye on those guys back there. Haas, Watson, Baker, Batson, T Wright, Jordan Lopes, V Almariego. Keep an eye on who's running the highest of those drivers, because right now, if anybody can make it on fuel, it'd be those drivers. Those drivers were last on pit lane back on lap 8. Or, I'm sorry, they were on pit road just moments ago. These other drivers that stayed out last were on pit road back on lap 8. So we know they can't make it. There's no way they can make it without coming to pit road at least one more time here, whether it be under green or under caution. So Norman leads them down. C Sandfer, Jesse Turner, Jacob Thibodeaux, and Dylan Young, now your new top 5. And all of a sudden, we're starting to see the emergence of Ford. Talked about how they are a perfect 3 for 3 and winning here at Watkins Glen with 3 different drivers. Right now, 3 of them up inside the top 5. Norman's 24th in the point standings, 1 position behind last week's winner, Zach Rogers. He's still looking for his first trip to victory lane this season. C Sandfer trying to stay in the top 30 in points. Had a good run last week at Martinsville, which moved him up 3 spots to 29th, as he and Jesse Turner are going to duke it out there. And Turner just inside the top 10 in points, 2-time winner, 9th in the standings. Right now, if you look at drivers in terms of performance this season, not necessarily average finish, but in terms of statistics of top 5s and top 10s, Jesse Turner is the third best driver so far this year, with 2 wins, 6 top 5s, and 10 top 10s. His teammate Adam Garcia has 2 wins, 7 top 5s, and 12 top 10s, and Nathan Ormond, another 2-time winner, has 2 wins, 7 top 5s, and 9 top 10s. So if you're kind of looking for a battle amongst who's going to have that number 1 seed when the playoffs are put together, playoff points are put together, might be looking at those 3. Jacob Thibodeaux now under fire from Jesse Turner. Saw William Brock running up here towards the front early on in this race. He is still back inside of the top 15 in that 88. Did not come down pit road to repair that right side damage that he sustained when he got the steel guardrail back there in the S's on the last restart, which really surprises me. I would have thought for certain he'd have come down pit lane to at least get that damage repaired, because it really looked like, at least after he hit the guardrail, that it was affecting his speed, but who knows? Zach Rogers, of course, his goal is clear now. He's got that win in the bank. He's just trying to climb up through the point standings. Gained 1 spot after his victory last week from 24th to 23rd, and right now, last time by being scored inside of the top 10. We'll see if he's still there this time as he's trying to get around Phil Parker in the 74, and he's still holding 9th place according to our scoring monitor. How about Pedro Lucas? We talked about how he and Daniel Voyles had that exchange on the final corner of the non-charter race, with Lucas hitting the wall from the race lead, finishing 3rd, but still making it into the race, and right now he is in the 11th spot. Great run there for the non-charter driver. We've had so far this season 4 non-charter drivers go to victory lane in charter races. Chris Dollerton was the first one back at Manassas, and then of course we had the Michael Wayne Robinson, Dylan Poteet, Dylan Schwallenberg trio back during 3 of the 4 Chili Bowl heats. Charles Sandfer has now gone to the point. S3 Motorsports only with 2 wins this season, both of them courtesy of the second-year driver Cole Deaver. Back at ISM, and following it up with a win at the Indy Grand Prix road course. Sanford's going to get the wall there, and Jacob Thibodeaux with the momentum going to try and go to the inside. You know, a thing we got to keep an eye on here too, as of right now, with Chris Dollerton locking himself into the playoffs, as Michael Norman took a look 3 wide there on Thibodeaux. One of our charter drivers will not be taking part in the will not be locked in, I should say, into the final 10 races of the season, because for one non-charter driver to move into the charter races as a playoff contender, one chartered machine has to fall down into the non-charter LCQ races. Right now, that spot would be another S3 Motorsports driver, Kyle Mathews, right now 36th in points. And he's got some ground to make up on William Brock. If he's going to knock William Brock down to that spot, the gap between the 88 and the 09 coming into this one, a total of 41 points. It's almost a full race distance between those two. And right now, I do believe the 88 is running higher on the racetrack than the 09 car is. Oh, Thibodeaux going to get the wall there. Michael Norman now going to get the run. Michael Norman Motorsports is still looking for their first win on the season. Neither Norman nor... Well, actually, no, correction. They're looking for their second win of the season. But the charter drivers, I should say, are looking for their first win. Neither Michael Norman nor Cody Llamas have gone to victory lane. Cody right back there around the 11th, 12th position in that bright yellow Lowe's Ford Mustang. And Michael Norman up here battling with fellow Floridian Dylan Young for second place behind the Californian Charles Sandfer. All right, I said I was going to do it. We're going to do it now. Let's drop back. Of the drivers that came to pit road under this last caution, who is the driver we're looking at that is running the highest? Benny Watson in the 75, I believe, would be that driver. Right now in the 31st position. Cole Baker is in 33rd. Jordan Lopez is in 34th, battling with Matt Haas. So right now, the 75, if everyone else ahead of him cannot make it, and if these drivers that did come down pit road can, would at some point inherit the race lead. But again, the question is, can those drivers who pitted back on lap 15, can they make it the rest of the way on what they've got in the tank? Ford of Jesse Turner, the Chevy of Carter Friesen will battle for 5th place and give the position to the 37 through the S's. Dylan Young took a look there through the chicane on Michael Norman. That was a little risky, making a late movement there, but did not get alongside. Now let's see. These drivers were last on pit road on lap 8. If 14, maybe 15 laps the furthest they can go, these guys are going to be on pit road in the next 2 to 3 laps, right? They'd have to be about 3 to 4 laps short. Not coming this time. Indication for these drivers to let the other drivers know they're coming to pit road is if they turn low off of turn 6 down towards that yellow line, showing that they're coming to pit lane. Well, Sandfer didn't hit the wall, but he did ride up there on that rumble strip, which allowed Michael Norman to get the run on him. So it kind of seems like, I don't know what it is. I really would love to be able to figure it out, but it seems like if you're out in front, you run a better chance of hitting that wall than if you're running 2nd or 3rd. And I don't know if it's because 2nd and 3rd place drivers are able to kind of gauge themselves to the race leader, but you would think the race leader, not only does he, he doesn't have the aero tightness, he's not in somebody's draft, so he doesn't have to worry about the car really not turning off the corner, plus you're the race leader. You get to choose when you want to lift and off the throttle and get back onto the throttle. So I would think that if you're out in front, you've got the better chance of not hitting the wall. And I mean, I'd hesitate to wager a guess of how many times so far in this race the leader has gotten that wall off of turn 7 in the number of laps that we've run. I think that probably be about maybe 19, 20 out of these 22 laps. It's kind of a perplexity there. I don't understand it. Norman, I don't know if you would count that as a hit or not. He made a little contact with the right rear quarter panel, but not much. That was as close of a brush as you can possibly have there. As Sandfer now going to cross him over going into turn 1. These guys have made it further than I expected. Maybe they can make it the rest of the way on fuel, but I'd be really surprised if they can. We don't have a clear idea of what the fuel window is. Those other guys back there might have just been playing a gamble on maybe a caution coming out. We'll find out here in the next 3.5 laps. It will be, or like that 4.5 laps, it'll be 4 laps to go next time by. As Sandfer and Norman pull away, 3rd place battle side by side between Dylan Young and Jacob Thibodeaux. And I can't help but be impressed with Pedro Lucas. This is a great run for the non-charter driver, making his 6th start in the season. 2 top 10 finishes in the 6 starts he's made this year, and both of those top 10s were up in the top 5 as well. So, the races that he has made, he has performed well. And having a very solid outing again here today. Just noticed J Qualls is about to pop up into the top 10. Good run there for the 54. 21st in points is J Qualls, trying to get the 3rd win of the season for Joanna Atwood Motorsports. Right now they've only got 2 victories, courtesy of that guy right there, Nathan Ormond, in the 45. And Nathan Ormond's 2 wins have come in the last, 6 weeks. His first win this season at Chicago Motor Speedway, and then his second a couple of weeks ago at Kentucky. Ford, Chevy, Ford, Chevy, Ford. How about Phil Parker? You got both of the Lake Effect Autosports cars up here with Jesse Turner back there in 7th, but Phil Parker in his 2nd season with the team is still looking for his first career Duracell Cup Series win. It could happen here today. Phil comes into this race 20th in points, and I think we got some drivers pitting. And we do. Michael Norman is down. Charles Sandfer, Jacob Thibodeaux. This is going to be with 3 laps to go. Dylan Young is staying out. So here's the question now. Who's got the fuel to make it? I want to drop back. I want to find that group that came to pit lane. Who's the highest running of them now? Looks like it might still be Benny Watson in the 75, and it is. So did Watson, 11th in the point standings, just work the strategy to get his first win of the season here at Watkins Glen? Or can Dylan Young and company, any of them, be able to save enough fuel to get to the checkered flag? They're going to have to save a little bit, I think, here. If the race leaders were just on pit road, first and second just pitted, Dylan Young moved from third to the race lead. Has he been saving enough to make it? That's an awful lot to ask. I mentioned that there's 3 straightaways here, so there's a couple of corners where you have off the throttle time to save, but you're on the throttle an awful lot on these long straightaways. Looks like Dylan Young, Phil Parker might be indicating they're coming this time. Carter Friesen looks like he might be staying out. Nope, he's coming in. Everybody's coming in of this group. And Daniel Voyles, who late cut to the right there in front of Benny Watson. And so Watson goes to the point. There's Jordan Lopes. Lopes, the defending champion, now on his back bumper. Cole Baker, Matt Haas. We've got an entirely different looking top 4 now. And the question is, do these guys have enough in the tank to be able to make it the remainder of this race? Now, my calculations would say yes. Remember, these guys were on pit road 7 laps after everybody else that just came onto pit lane. So they've got to be anywhere from +4 to +5 on being able to make it the rest of the way. Watson's looking for his first win on the season. Jordan Lopes looking for his second. Lopes winning earlier on this year at Kansas Speedway. Already locking himself into the playoffs as he's also 6th in the overall standings, looking to defend his championship. And now trying to be the 8th multi-time winner on the season. Cole Baker and Matt Haas are also looking for their first win on the season. Baker trying to go coast to coast here at Watkins Glen. 3 Toyotas trying to stop Ford from going a perfect 4 for 4 here at Watkins Glen. And it's going to be one more lap to decide it. Lopes with a run out of turn 7. Looks to the inside into turn 1. Baker's trying to figure out if he can make a 3-wide move. Look at him kind of try and draft Benny Watson there going into turn 1 to keep him ahead of the Ford. But Lopes will clear before they get to the S's. Oh, contact! Contact for second between Watson and Baker's into the steel guardrail. And that might have just sealed it. Watson and Baker, if they had been able to settle it out for second place, someone might have had a shot at Lopes, but look at the gap he's opened up now. Nearly 6 car lengths, 7 car lengths back to the battle now for second between the 75 and the 8. Lopes just has to hit his marks now. Only a couple of corners left to go. Turn 5 in the carousel. The right or the left-hand turn 6 and the right-hand turn 7. And I don't think even Matt Haas is close enough if Lopes got the wall off the final corner to be able to get around him. Jordan Lopes. He's going to do it. He's going to become the 7th multi-time winner. Or make that the 8th multi-time winner on the season. And he will be locking up a playoff spot to defend his championship. Off the final turn, down the front straightaway. The cheese at 355 belongs to Jordan Lopes here at Watkins Glen. And it all goes back. All these drivers finishing up inside of the top 8. It all goes back to that pit stop they made under the last caution on lap 15. They were able to make it on fuel. Everybody else had to come back down pit road. Well, the 42 of Almariego might have actually run out of fuel there on the final lap because Norman's actually going to finish 8th with Sandfer behind him in 9th. And Almariego is actually going to finish in 10th place. Either that or Norman and Sandfer were able to pass Almariego, who was running quite a ways back off the pace before they got back to the start-finish line. But Jordan Lopes, he's going to join his teammate Trey Wright as a multi-time winner this season. It's the 4th win on the year for Blue Oval Automotive. 2 for the 28 and 2 for the 38. And Jordan Lopes knows. He's been there before. He's won the championship. He knows that wins and racking up max points are important, and he's trying to make a statement here in the closing stages of this regular season. He wants to get himself up there into the conversation for the regular season championship, rack up those 15 playoff bonus points, as he came into this race only 30 points out of the overall points lead. Tough break there for Benny Watson, who almost had this thing wrapped up, but Lopes got him there going into the first corner on the final lap. He'll finish second. Nathan Ormond's going to bring it home, or make that rather, actually, Matt Haas, is going to finish in second. Benny Watson in third. Matt Haas good run there, second place starting and finishing today. Cole Baker also a solid outing there after starting from the pole to finish in fourth. That's back-to-back top fives for that 11 team. T Wright will make it a 2 Blue Oval Automotive cars in the top 5, as he'll get the 5th position. Ryan Brommer in 6th, Keith Batson 7th. Those were drivers that came down pit road back on lap 15. Michael Norman pitting from the race lead will finish in 8th. Charles Sandfer pitted from 2nd. He'll finish 9th. And V Almariego completed the top 10. A couple of notables that finished down outside of the top 20. One that really jumps out to me, well, actually 2 that really jump out to me, are Adam Garcia and Mitchell Collins. Collins finishes in 26th. Adam Garcia is going to finish in 40th position, over a full minute behind race winner Jordan Lopes. These were 2 guys that came into this race first and second in the point standings. Nathan Ormond is going to finish officially in 28th. Dylan Young, he finished down in, well, he finished in 15th. And Jack Mitchell, where'd the 0-1 finish this race? 38th. Boy, you know, I'm not 100% certain. Jordan Lopes, only 30 points back. He might have taken this points lead. Either he or Dylan Young might be the points leader heading into next week, just on the fact that the 23, the 22, the 45, the 0-1 all finished way down in the running order. So we could have a new points leader heading into Pocono next week, but we're going to have to wait and see about the finishing results here in just a moment. Jordan Lopes, though, is going to join Adam Garcia, Mitchell Collins, Nathan Ormond, Jesse Turner, T Wright, Cole Deaver, and Ryan Butcher as a multi-time winner this season. I don't think we've had this many multi-time winners during the course of a season so far in Duracell Cup Series competition. This has been a very unusual but very exciting season, and we've still got 3 more races before those 16 playoff drivers are determined. Next week, it's the tricky triangle of Pocono. The following week, we go to the dirt-covered short track of Bristol. Then we cap things off at a track that some people say is a speedway, some people say is a super speedway. Definitely going to be a wild card race with possible last-minute winner at Auto Club. And then we will find out who is going to be those 16 drivers heading into the playoffs in the first playoff race at Richmond. So, man, certainly looking forward to those upcoming races, see who makes those last-minute moves to get into the playoffs. But we do know that the defending champion of the series will be one of those 16 competitors as he picks up win number 2 on the year here today at Watkins Glen. Congratulations there to Jordan Lopes, and we will look forward to seeing who else might be able to pick up either their first, second, or in the case of now 8 drivers, 3rd win, league-leading 3rd win on the season next week at Pocono Raceway. Hope you guys will join us for that. Hope you guys enjoyed today's race. If you did, be sure to give us a like, subscribe, and become part of the crew today. We have shown you full finishing results, and these are what your point stands look like heading into Pocono Raceway next week. You've been watching another production of the NNSCRA Offline Racing at its Best. We'll see you guys next week at Pocono.